Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today. Recently, actor Alfonso Ribeiro came out and stated that the black community did not want anything to do with him because he was involved in an interracial relationship where he was married to a white woman. Now, this is quite interesting because your Alfonso Ribeiro back in the 1990s played Carlton Banks, a character who was often derided for acting too white. And in a case of life imitating art, he is saying that he's not getting support from the black community because he's out here married to this white woman. And because he's married to this white woman, most black people don't want anything to do with him because he's living a lifestyle that does not fit within the black narrative. And it's something that means that he will never be supported in a black house. Now, when I take a critical examination of your Alfonso Ribeiro statement, I have to call bullshit on his statement. And the reason why I'm calling BS on your Alfonso Ribeiro's statement is because when it comes down to many of these black celebrities, like your Alfonso Ribeiro, like your Jaleel White, and like your Cuba Gooding Jr., many of these black men who are out here and have white partners or white spouses, many of these men do not actively go out looking for the support of the black community. No, many of these men who are out here with these white or these non-black spouses oftentimes go out here looking for the support of the white community. And because they're out here seeking the support and the approval of the white community, many of these individuals, like your Alfonso Ribeiro, spend most of their time throwing the black community under the bus. And because these individuals spend most of their time looking to buck dance and bojangle for your white man and will throw any black man or black woman under the bus in order to get some of the butter biscuit crumbs from the white Hollywood table, these guys just show how treacherous they are, and most black people who have any sort of good critical thinking skills and self-awareness spend their time putting distance between themselves and these individuals. Now, your Alfonso Ribeiro wants to sit here and say that the black community wants nothing to do with him, but again, he wanted nothing to do with the black community. He wanted to go out here and join sellout lane with people like your Jaleel White, your Cuba Gooding Jr., your Terry Crews, your Halle Berry, and many others. They all wanted to sit there in their enclave with these white people, and they had no interest in going out here and helping anybody out in the community. I have a critical question for your Alfonso Ribeiro, who is married to this Becky. How many black men did you help get opportunities in Hollywood? That's a question I'd like to ask your Alfonso Ribeiro. How many black screenwriters did you help get a project greenlit? How many black screenwriters, actors, and others out here did you help get an opportunity to meet the agents out here and be able to get their work in front of them in the efforts to get a green light? A critical question that your Alfonso Ribeiro, I don't think, could answer, because he's sitting here saying, hey, the black community doesn't support me, but how many black people did you support and try to elevate in when you were out here being a big time celebrity? I mean, you're sitting there looking for black people to come out here and be able to go out here and support you and your work, but how many people did you help get a leg up when you were working in Hollywood? So he's sitting there thinking, oh, black people don't support me because I'm married to a white woman. No, black people walked away from you because they saw you were a sellout. Now, in a recent video I saw on TMZ, they showed your Alfonso Ribeiro bragging about being with white girls, and it seems like the only reason why he's upset is because he's all out here and he knows that his bread and butter is financed by black people, and black people now are walking away from him because they see the sellout that he is, and because they see he's a sellout, he's starting to understand that he's not going to have much value to his white slave masters, and he may wind up in the same butt out position that your Roland Martin is in right now. Because oftentimes, when it comes to your white Hollywood, when they see that you have no influence among the black masses, that's when they put a boot in your backside and send you straight back to the ghetto. And that's what your Alfonso Ribeiro fears, and that's why he's whining, crying, and moaning about black people not supporting him, because he knows he cannot go very far in Hollywood unless he can go out here and show that there are some white folks, that there are some black people behind him. Because if he cannot show that he is an influence to the black community, then white supremacy doesn't have much use for him, and that means his days are numbered. And with him being married to that white wife, he knows that these white females are quite hypergamous, and once they see that the money is about to run out, they are going to run out. And this woman is because she's probably one of these Russian women, she's looking at your Alfonso Ribeiro, and she's probably got plans to get with another dude, and she's planning to file for divorce on him. And because she's planning to file divorce on your Alfonso Ribeiro, possibly what's happening is he's starting to get scared, because he's living in Hollywood where those community property laws that mean she's going to get half, and that means his wallet is going to be about 50 to 100 pounds lighter, because oftentimes in the courts, when it's a white woman in a court with a black man, or a black woman in a court with a white man, white supremacy sides with that white spouse, and that white spouse goes out here and has a big payday, similar to what Gabriel Aubrey received when Halle Berry wound up having to pay child support to him. And I believe your Alfonso Ribeiro has a child with this white female, so he knows that his days are numbered, and he's scared to death of that. And instead of him realizing that he put himself in this bad situation, no, he wants to turn it on the black community, and he wants to make it like it's all the black community's fault. But if you were so concerned about getting support from the black community, you would think that your Alfonso Ribeiro, again, would be out here trying to elevate many of these young brothers out here who are screenwriters, and helping them get their work to the marketplace, or going out here and helping some of these young black actors and actresses get work in Hollywood. But no, he wasn't thinking about helping out the next generation of brothers and sisters. No, he was on a quest for white acceptance, and because he was on a quest for white acceptance, now he's stuck in white supremacy's hold, and because he's stuck in white supremacy's hold, like many other black actors who walked away from people like Bill Cosby, like in the case of Jaleel White, many of these black actors are stranded in white supremacy, and they are wondering when the media arm of white supremacy is going to have no use for them, because they know when the media arm of white supremacy has no use for a black actor to buck dance and bojangle, eventually they are going to break that black man the same way they have broken Cuba Gooding Jr., because Cuba Gooding Jr. thought, oh, white people like me. He was all up in the white women's faces until the era of Me Too came along, and now that this is going on, your Cuba Gooding Jr. has been held liable as related to an alleged case, and he's looking at losing a lot of money as related to it. And that's what, again, terrifies Alfonso Ribeiro. And now he wants to go out here and attack black people who he says wasn't supporting him. But he walked away from the black community in order to gain white acceptance. And when you walk away from the black community to get white acceptance, black people will leave you out here, and whatever happens to you, happens to you. I mean, this is what I've seen happen to numerous black actors like your Halle Berry, who is in the same predicament. Black people have no dealings with Halle Berry ever since she got with Gabriel Aubry. And when they heard that your Alfonso Ribeiro was out here with this white girl, they said the same thing. So many of these black actors in black Hollywood, what I find is that they want to make things a one-way street. They want to sit here and talk about, oh, nobody supports me. But again, how many people in the black community have you supported? I mean, you want to go and get the black dollars out of the black community, but then you don't want to go out here and help another brother or sister take themselves to the next level. And then you want to sit there and talk about nobody supporting you, but you walked away from black people. And when black people see you out here with your white wife and living your lavish lifestyle, they have no reason to want to have anything to do with you, because you never wanted to have anything to do with them. And this whole thing out here talking about black people don't support you, that's just, again, complete BS, because black people supported you when you were on The Fresh Prince. They supported you when you were on In the House. They even supported you when you were out here doing all of these little game shows and doing shows like America's Funniest Home Videos. But you just abandon the black community, and then you want to make the black people look like the bad guy, when in actuality, your Alfonso Ribeiro is the bad guy. He wants to sit here and make it look like we are doing him dirty, but he was the one who did the black community dirty, and now he wants to sit there and try to shame black people into supporting him and talking about it's all about his interracial marriage. But it's not about your interracial marriage. It is about the content of your character. And when it comes down to Alfonso Ribeiro's character, he's coming across as real greasy. I mean, when I look at his vibe, it reminds me so much of Roland Martin, because your Roland Martin is the same kind of desperate. He's out here looking to try to find any way to get in with the white man. And that's what this whole case of black people don't support me is all about, is that he's trying to ensure that he continues to get crumbs from the master's table, because the only way to stay relevant with white supremacy when you are a black entertainer is by showing that you can get black butts into seats and you can get black people spending dollars to pay attention to you. But I have no reason to pay attention to your Alfonso Ribeiro, who ironically has become everything that Carlton Banks was alleged to be, and he's become everything that Carlton Banks is alleged to be: detached, disconnected, and completely severed his connection from the black community, and thinks about trying to be like a white man, and then sits there and doesn't understand that he's the Oreo, and he's an Oreo that really does not see how his whole behavior just completely turns off black people, because you think of yourself as an individual, and if you're thinking of yourself as an individual, then the group of black people don't want anything to do with you, because you're a threat to the collective, and you're a threat to the collective because you value white acceptance over black pride, and because you value white acceptance over black pride, black people can't trust you, and because we can't trust you, we look at you as a traitor to the race, and we look at you as a traitor to the race because here you are sitting up with your white wife and your biracial child, I think, and you're sitting there talking about black people don't support me. But when we look at your family, we see somebody who has no interest in supporting the black community, and we look at you and all of these black entertainers in Hollywood that I have mentioned, and we see them as completely detached from the black community and wanting nothing to do with other black people in the black community, and not looking to bring any sort of resources out of Hollywood to the black community. I mean, when you look at Your Alfonso Ribeiro in his statements, they're the same thing that a sellout would say, and only a sellout says those type of things when they know they're on thin ice with their white slave masters, because they know that the white slave master is just this 1 minute from taking a size 9 shoe, shoving it up their backside, and sending them straight back to the ghetto where they will be made to live among the black people they really had no support for and have nothing but contempt for. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my SJS Direct publications featuring positive images of black characters, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Hayes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers. ISIS, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess, featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers